My Ghostwriter presents Shadows of Code and Conscience. Table of Contents, Chapter 1, The Cipher Within. Chapter 2, Into the Wolf's Den. Chapter 3, Web of Intrigue. Chapter 4, Mask of Deception. Chapter 5, Allies and Adversaries. Chapter 6, The Cost of Destiny. Chapter 1, The Cipher Within. The room buzzed softly, a muted symphony of machines and murmurs that wove itself into the fabric of wartime urgency. Elena stared at the tangled chaos of enemy transmissions laid before her, the cryptographic dance a familiar terrain that demanded her mastery. Each cipher hummed with hidden menace, yet it was this very complexity that animated her with a purpose as profound as an undercurrent in a treacherous sea. Elena's skills as a cryptanalyst were a legend among the Allied intelligence circles. Her office, cluttered yet methodical, told the tale of countless nights spent wrestling with strain patterns and frequency analyses. An unremarkable broom closet of a room it might be, but within its confines, battles were fought and won with intellect sharp as any blade. The walls were lined with transmission intercepts and technical schemata, each pinprick marking a potential enemy weakness. The morning light filtered through the narrow window, casting elongated shadows across her work. It was then that a sealed envelope found its way to her desk, delivered with quiet formality by a messenger whose expression betrayed nothing. Inside, the directive shone with the weight of its implications: infiltrate the Reich's R&D facility, priority status. The typed lines seemed to vibrate under Elena's fingertips as she read and reread the orders. This was unlike any task she had undertaken before. Unlike the abstract thrill of crackling coded messages across static seas or predicting enemy maneuvers through the veil of digits, this mission demanded flesh and blood risk. Yet, beneath the call of duty lay the tremor of trepidation, the fear of losing herself amid layers of deception. Dangers loomed beyond the clear-cut lines of combat, within the very shadows she was tasked to infiltrate. Her mind reeled back, confronting specters of imposture and betrayal lurking at each contingent possibility. Could her resolve stand against the relentless scrutiny of a regime fanatically bent on dominance? The assignment was perilous, requiring more than her nimble intellect. It necessitated a dissociation from self, an ability to don facades with seamless authenticity. She would become someone else, a researcher, immersed in the clandestine swirl of Nazi innovation. The Allied forces were on the precipice. They needed more than victories logged in codes broken. They required inside knowledge of horrific potentials being brewed under the Third Reich's iron grip. Elena's eyes, reflective pools of steadfast resolve, locked onto the map, sprawled across her desk, tracing routes not merely geographical, but existentially fraught with moral upheaval. To fail meant more than the forfeiture of her life. It risked collapsing the fragile bastions she and her colleagues had painstakingly erected. The burden settled heavily across her shoulders, but with it came a steely determination. There lay an obligation to confront abominations, not just with algorithms, but with unyielding courage. She composed herself, crafting a mental dossier of her assumed identity, each forged detail imbued with the credence of rehearsed sincerity. With her belongings gathered, Elena afforded herself a last, lingering glance around the room, the clutter of chaotic brilliance that had been hers to command. "Good hunting," a colleague murmured as she crossed the threshold. The words struck a discordant note of finality, punctuating the air with a somber farewell to all she knew. The world outside was alive with complexities and dangers, far exceeding any she might extract from an encoded dispatch. As Elena stepped out into the unknown, each stride recalled the imperative of her mission, yet it was her internal mettle she resolved to fortify. For if shadows of code had been her arena, now the shadows of conscience became her crucible, a trek into the very heart of darkness, where the cipher